Good evening or good afternoon, everyone. Sunday afternoon, 6th of June. Time's pushing along quickly. You're already a week into June already. Time to start getting back out there, I reckon. Potential good news with only a few cases today, but let's hope we can get back out there soon. It's disappointing to see that venues are closed, especially musicians. We all know Sunday afternoons traditionally, right now, beer gardens would be full of people enjoying a laugh and a good catch up, and most importantly, listening to some music. And we look forward to welcoming back one of our favourites. We've had some good feedback on a favourite artist of ours, or ours now for sure, Eric Collier from down Gippsland way, if you haven't heard the name. And this is a fairly new duo of his that's been put together, and we'd like to welcome Janine as well, which is part of No Promises. So welcome, guys. How are we?
G'day, how you doing?
Well, how you going?
Very well, thanks. Sunny Gippsland, beautiful part of the world, no doubt.
Not so sunny.
Yeah, I was going to say that, not so sunny.
Yeah, probably not too sunny, a little bit windy, I guess, I'm sure. But the good part is out of lockdown for a little while, being a little bit more free down that way compared to local Melbourne. Just tell us a little bit about. I'm very surprised to be able to see you both in the same room, which is fantastic.
I saw it, and I just found out Janine saw it as well. There was a politician that put up a list of things that you can do, and one of the things was creative studios can open back up.
So here we are.
Music studio is creative studio as far as I'm concerned. So.
Yeah, it sure is.
I'm running with it.
Yeah, great to see you guys together. Episode 38 for us. Janine, if you're not kind of too aware of how this show originally came together, just to give you a very quick brief, that this show was really just to touch base with friends and family during the first COVID lockdown, and it was never really supposed to go past episode 1. And we just literally had a chat, jumped on, and we'd go for a walk with a mate of mine, and we'd ask the question of how things are going and reach out to, have you heard from, certain friends? And we hadn't. So we jumped on Facebook one day and went live and just started chatting to different people. And then obviously the lockdowns went through that phase, and definitely one phase of it that we really noticed, or one particular segment, was musicians. And we have a lot of muso friends and we just started to put together a musician every time we put this show together. And it ended up one show a week, and then we got into a period where it was 2 shows. And just of the last lockdown, we thought we'd just reach out to as many artists as we could. And it's been a really good way to catch up with people, promote gigs, most importantly, and chat about what's happening and try and keep everyone positive during this time. So here we are at episode 38. It's gone quite quickly.
Yeah, I've actually caught a few of the interviews you've done, and it's just fantastic for people like us to just another outlet for us to be heard. So it's great.
Yeah, I know Eric goes live quite frequently, which is a great way for a lot of people, and spread the word. There's a lot of people that can't get to gigs at the moment, and even when they can, not always able to get to gigs, especially midweek. So it's a great way to get your music out there and spread the love. It's a little bit of a different way compared to years ago. It used to be just wait, and promote the gig, and then eventually get there and hope people turn up.
Hope people are there.
Yeah, it's a bit. The way we publicise ourselves has moved on a bit. In some ways it's easier, in other ways it's harder.
Yeah, it must be hard to try and break through the noise, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we kind of refer to a fair bit. Is it used to be just gig posters, and put them up wherever you could, inside cafes and word of mouth and that kind of thing, especially down regional kind of towns and stuff. You'd be at local pubs and cafes and all sorts of things, and it's definitely changed a lot.
Driving everywhere with your posters in the car. I remember doing that.
Yeah.
Doing poster runs. You'd spend a whole day doing it.
Yeah.
That's right. One thing that does intrigue me is in relation to some of your artworks and stuff as well. So we'll talk about that shortly. But I might kick off, given that you guys can't play or won't be playing with us live today, I thought we might go to a couple of the clips that you've got from your latest album, and then we'll talk through kind of how the crew got together, and then
no worries.
where you're kind of up to. So we might start with Ashes and Dust, if that's okay.
No worries.
Here we go. We'll play a little bit from this. That's the album cover. Let me just scroll down. Excuse me. Here we go.
Fall to the earth. Fall to the earth and cry. Watching you struggle with the things you should let go. Bury it down. Bury it down inside. Killing the fire's light, the essence that is you. And the fear strikes deep when your heart is an ocean. And the plans she keeps are an open book. Run away with me, you know my arms are open. Let's spin around at the speed of sound till we combust like ashes and dust. I've seen your grace.
I love it.
Oh, thank you, mate.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's just tell us a little bit about the chance meeting that happened it was 2020, wasn't it?
Well, we were aware of each other before then. I'd played with Fiona, a good friend of Janine, a few times, and they're a great duo just by themselves. And I guess I think we did a show was it? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Harmony and CCM.
Yeah, we did a show. We booked out a community hall, at Tarwin Mechanics Institute hall, and yeah, we did a show there. Not many people turned up because it was when all the bushfires were on and the smoke was everywhere. And here in Venus Bay, we're all on tank water, and all your water tasted like bushfire because of the smoke and the rain. And yeah, so everyone left, but a few people turned up. I think we had 20 or 30 people there, so that was okay. But yeah, and I think fast forward to lockdown, and
well, I wrote a song called Lights
you did,
that I
right.
released with Fiona, and we needed someone to play some lead guitar and things on there. And like, why don't we ask Eric? So we asked Eric, and then he put his little bit of magic into it, and yeah, then we decided we both had a really good clicked creatively. We're both really keen on doing our own stuff, and doing covers is fun, but I'd rather have people singing our songs, than sing someone else's for the rest of my life. So yeah, here we are.
Sounds great. Yeah, it's looks through some negative aspects of the lockdown, we find a great positive here, and I think that's great to see.
Plenty of time to write and record songs in a lockdown.
Yeah, look, it's interesting because I speak to a lot of artists, and some went off and did other gigs during that time. And when I say gigs, not music gigs, they went off and found other ways to have to make money, sadly, and music wasn't it for them, or it was homeschooling, or all sorts of
I did that too. That was fun.
Yeah, you had a great time doing that.
That's probably where all the songs came from.
Yeah, well, one thing that I've noticed on the bio is the amount of songs that you've written, Janine, during this kind of period. It mentions there 150 songs in 10 months. It's
out of control.
I think we're over 170 now.
I think. I just don't know. I don't even know.
We just wrote another one today.
I was driving over, and a chorus came into my head, so I just sang it all the way to myself till I got here, and we worked on it, and we've pretty much got the whole song there. We've just got to record it, so it's going to be great.
Fantastic. So just a bit on that. What's the recording process for you guys as singer-songwriters now? I know you've been able to do this independently by yourselves, and then how have you done this? How has this album been put together? Has it been put together in a studio, or has it been done in parts? How do you guys have gone about this album?
I think the pattern we seem to be following lately is Janine comes over when we're allowed to, and we record a demo, and then I play along to the demo, put my parts in, sing it if I have to sing it, and then I send it over to our good friend Mark Drury, who's our sound engineer. And Janine goes over there and sings her parts, and then if I have to do anything else, then I'll do that, and then send them over to Mark. Then he mixes it all down. I don't know how he does it. Some of the rubbish that I send him, he does such a great job.
He's fantastic.
Yeah. So, and that's pretty much the process.
Great. And was it like that for each track, or was there anything different about a certain track how it came together for you?
Break the Fall on our album, that one was recorded live. Were we live streaming? I think we just made a video.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, and I multi-track recorded it as well. And I think you touched up the vocals a little bit.
Yeah, I went over did the vocals.
But the rest of it was just live. And
okay, it just happens to be that I've got a minute of that track right here ready to go.
So that recording, yeah, the guitar in that is the third time I heard the song. I played the song. So yeah,
that's a good segue to let's hear it and see a little bit of this. Break the Fall.
Can you hear the wind whistling through the trees? I know you're not immune to all the lies surrounding me. And the new full moon shining on your past. I see the distance that you left, but it's fading fast. Oh, it's fading fast.
Yes, another one, and that's definitely the journey, a real journey kind of song. That one,
it is a bit, yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see even the clip you've chosen there, that long and windy road and reflection time. I guess. Just tell us a little bit about that one, Janine.
Well, I guess I wrote it about just having a friend's back. You know, you might have all of us have got friends or someone that's gone through a bit of a rough patch and they feel like they're alone. And that's just me saying pretty much that I've got your back, and, you know, I'm also not perfect. And yeah, you're not alone pretty much. Yeah.
Well, I think it's very, very applicable right now when people are in this lockdown phase. We're lucky enough to be surrounded by friends and family, a lot of us. And I've reached out recently to a couple of friends that are doing it pretty tough this last lockdown. Being one or two people, in some cases a single person, in a rental kind of house where they're locked up in one kind of room in a really tough environment. So
that would be so hard.
Yeah, the hard part right now is, once again, the uncertainty. It started off being a week at that very first time, and that obviously changed rapidly. So
we've all been there.
I don't know about everyone else, but this one seems to be harder mentally. Kind of. Yep. It just seems to, like the other one. I'm speaking for myself here. The first part of it was like a bit of an adventure.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Right.
We lost all our gigs. Let's live stream, and trying to be positive and all the rest of it, and it was okay. And then this one is kind of, well, I'm really over this. I'm lucky. I've still got a day job, but not everyone else is as lucky as that, And I just despair for the people that aren't as lucky as that.
And I feel like live music was just getting back on its feet again too, and then it's just like the rug's being pulled out from under us again, and now we've got to build up again.
Yeah, definitely. It's and while they started off with it being a week, we obviously knew that was absolute best case, and it's turned into a second week, and we're just hoping like hell it's not going to be a third or a fourth. And just on that and how hard life is at the moment, and life for a lot of people, I just want to quickly promote Wednesday night show coming up with the great James Young, who owns 3 venues now, the Cherry Bar, Yayars, and Hotel Westwood, which is a new venue in Footscray in Melbourne. And James has obviously been very outspoken on behalf of venues and bars, and also, most importantly, music.
I think I saw a post of his the other day on Facebook.
Yeah, he's
and it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does, and we really hope that the government sees sense this time in the opening and the reopening, that we can do this safely.
It's been what I've found staggering is the inconsistencies that you see without going into it too deeply. It's very inconsistent approach. I've noticed anyway, and like I say, I won't go into it that deeply, but that's been very frustrating.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things you want to load up the car and get into another state right now, and they seem to be handling it a lot better than how we do in Melbourne. So if you consider yourselves very lucky to be down Gippsland way, I know the weather's not shining on you right now, but I'm sure it will. And just to have that outlet and a bit of a sea change, I know it was for you, Eric, a few years ago now, but to get down in amongst the ocean and put the feet into the sand again, it's a different mindset.
It is. Every day feels like a Sunday in Venus Bay.
Yeah. We've got to keep that a little bit quiet, though. We don't want everyone down there.
That's right.
That beautiful little pocket of the world. I just want to work through the next song, which I've got here, of Drive. Just tell us a little bit about that one before we go into it and play the clip.
That one was the result of our first jam session, because we'd spoken maybe a week or two before. Said, "Do you want to do an original project?" And Jenny said, "Yeah, I'm in that." So we arranged to catch up. This was before, I think, the first lockdown, and Janine came over and we just rolled through a bunch of, she had some words and I had some. Well, Drive, the chords, I'd been mucking around with something like that for ages, years, and hadn't done anything with it, and I just started playing that.
I remember going like, "What's that?
What's that? Stop! Keep going!
Keep playing it!" And I just wrote the lyrics like they just came out.
that song took about, I don't know, a minute to write.
It was quick.
It was really quick. And,
right. Pretty common to a lot of musicians that they have this little bits of gold sitting in their back catalogue that they never ever release or never put out there. And I'm fantastic, Janine, that you've captured it, grabbed it, and taken it off.
Yeah, he's got little pieces of music like that just stashed in his brain. I think
we'll be here in this situation, and Janine will have her pen and paper out, and I'll be mucking around on the guitar, or we'll be in between takes of a song that we're recording the demo for, and I'll just start playing something. She goes, "Stop! Just keep playing that, and so it ends up being a song."
Yeah.
It's good fun.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by that of the connection between the music and the songwriting for a lot of artists, and when does it feel right for you guys, and how does it click? I know that's probably not the easiest thing to just answer straight away, but it's not a case of which bit comes first, but how do you know that bit's right for that particular song or whatever you're putting
when
together?
It doesn't irritate you.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. We like the
just happens.
The one we wrote today. It's like there was a part that I wasn't quite happy with, and I thought, no, it's got to go like this. And we had one more line longer than would fit into that musical phrase, so we just cut one line out, kind of thing, and then it was fine.
It was perfect, yeah.
Yeah, and after we fixed that part, I think it was a minute or so, maybe a couple of minutes, and the rest of the song was done, kind of thing.
Fantastic. All right, well, let's play this song, Drive, number 5 on the new album.
so I can figure out where it all went wrong. In the heat of the night, the words don't come out right, and I don't wanna leave this undone.
Pour me another damn drink, so I can clear my head and think. When the cold wind blows, I just want you to know that I tried everything.
Yeah, another one that's, I think it's a great album, and for a first effort for you guys, as far as first album together, it's super. I really love it, to be honest, and I hope it really is starting to get a bit of airplay.
I think it's getting there. It's like you said earlier, promotion wise, there's just so much noise, and it's just breaking through the noise, kind of thing.
Yep.
It's just, and Facebook's just made it harder. Basically, they want you to pay for advertising for every post. The posts aren't getting anywhere near the reach that they used to.
Yep.
And they want you to pay for advertising. So it's made harder in that aspect. But I think, generally speaking, the noise, I think our biggest weapon is the sheer volume of songs that we've got. We could record a song a week for the next 170 weeks and release a new song every week.
Sounds like a pretty good challenge to me.
Yeah.
Careful what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone heard that now.
The first album, I think, and we didn't really have a sound, so we just sort of, one of these, didn't really have like any particular genre, really. Before
we approached the album, we released a couple of singles, and we had bass and drums on them, and those guys were awesome. What were their names again?
Ben Tunks and Scott Hogan.
Yeah. And we were planning on getting them to do some stuff as well, and then lockdowns came, and basically it just turned it into an acoustic album, of me playing and maybe some stomp box and percussion. The recording process was restricted by what we could physically do, kind of thing. And so that's why it ended up like that.
But then I thought, well, maybe that is our sound.
Maybe that's
us.
And we've kind of expanded a little bit with the last song and the next one that's coming up as well.
With this album that's coming out, we've definitely got like a sound of our own happening now. Like, so the whole album is a bit more cohesive, I think, compared to the first one.
Sure. So did you really think that first album was more searching for what that connection really was, and then you kind of found one of the tracks in particular, or a couple, and then you kind of headed that way?
I don't think there was any kind of science put into
no
the songs that we chose and how we recorded them. It was just like, okay, we've got nothing creative to do, let's just record songs and put them on an album, kind of thing.
Yep.
And that's
to me they're very much in obviously what I've heard from you before, Eric, and it felt a lot more like a jam session for you guys. Is that a fair?
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah, we wanted that kind of a feel. I think I spoke to Janine early on and said, let's try and make it feel a bit more live, kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's I think it's for 10 tracks. You always look for the one that you're going to pull out, or that one shouldn't have gone in, or that kind of thing. But I'm sure you'd be happy. Obviously, you're very pleased with that album. And one thing I want to just touch on is the artwork, Janine, which I know you're responsible for.
Yeah, well, I can't really take too much credit for that one because I search high and low for copyright-free more images that I can use and adapt to what we need. And that one just jumped out at me. I don't know, I just kind of loved it. And then there was a whole apple in the tree thing that I've run with. Eric's got the song before this time. What is it? I haven't fallen far from you. And that made me think of the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree, and then that I've brought it in. So now pretty much in most of our artwork, there's like an apple or something like I've carried a bit of an Easter egg type of thing where I've just carried it through.
Yep. And just tell us a little bit about this album cover.
So I kind of like that old time gothic / country look, and I tried to capture it, and I think that kind of did.
I was never previously aware of such a look. But
no,
I've been enlightened.
Well, one thing I know from your bio too is that you definitely didn't pigeonhole yourself into one genre during this kind of phase and through your development phase. So have you been able to settle on a genre that you're heading towards now, or it's still going to be a bit bluesy country?
I think we definitely lean more towards alt country, would you say?
Yeah, alternative country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever that encompasses.
Yeah, it's fairly broad.
It is. As soon as it's
so you could probably go. There's going to be kind of bluesy sounding songs on the next album, and then there's very country sounding songs as well. So, yeah.
It's never going to be really that full on country twang, but there'll be aspects of it in there. It's just it seems to come naturally for some reason. I don't know.
Might be Eric's solos.
They're all the same, just different speeds. And some are played backwards and others sideways.
And also another thing that I find quite interesting that you've put together is either lyrics in parts of the songs or things that would appeal to the male and female genre. So just tell us a little bit about the influences on those, Janine.
As in the songwriting, or you mean the artwork?
The artwork's mainly for the T-shirts, and why you've gone down that angle that are you've released kind of 20 odd T-shirts there in that range. It's very diverse, and I think that's different for what a lot of bands do. Yeah,
I've kind of tried to look for another stream of income. Because we had no gigs and we had nothing. So I figured maybe we could start doing some teas, and I wanted to appeal to everyone.
Sure.
And not just pigeonhole like certain genders. So I'd look for lyrics that I could adapt and create something with that. And so I just looked through my songs and found something that would fit to my lyrics. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I love doing that sort of stuff.
Mm.
Very good. Another way to get that artistic talent out onto something else. So I'm sure it could spread to a little bit wider than just T-shirts too, but maybe we can talk about that another time.
Probably,
that'd be a good idea.
The last track I want to play is, I don't think it's actually on this album by the look of it.
It hasn't been released yet.
It's going to be on the next one.
There you go. Are we okay to play that? It's no.
It's on YouTube already.
Yeah,
that's all right. I don't think it's any top secret at this point. But the great part I like about this one is it's you guys together in this studio as if you were playing like you would have today. And I think that's an important thing that people see, and they just see that connection. So if you don't mind me playing
this one was from a live stream.
It is, because it's got your advertising.
Yeah. We couldn't edit that bit out, but we left it in there. So this gig isn't coming up. It's not a gig that's happening next April. Let's just run. But one thing that you will definitely find is if you're ever down Gippsland Way, I guarantee there's a gig that Eric's going to be in. And it could be any night of the week.
I've never seen anyone do as many live gigs as this man. He works very hard.
Sure.
The most I've done in a weekend was 13.
I think that's incredible.
Incredible or crazy? I
just like seeing how many shows I can do it at once.
I'm sure the hard part's the travel. I'm sure.
It's timing it. It's just timing it. It's particularly interesting when you're playing on Phillip Island during summer and the traffic.
You had a gig at Phillip Island, and then we had that gig at Sandy Point that night. We were support act for the Winnie Blues.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you come here for whatever time for sound check? He's like, I'll get there, I reckon, like about 6.
Yeah.
We managed to fit in a sound check, so it was good. But he came straight from Phillip Island to the next gig. Yeah. It's crazy.
Talk about running hot. One way to keep the voice warmed up anyway.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's
all right.
interesting, the old voice.
Yeah, let's play this song, Unquenchable Fire.
It's been raining every day here since you left me, and the mornings seem much darker than the nights. I've been trying hard to fill this sea of emptiness, but I just can't seem to stop the time. I wake up with your name upon my lips. The sweat of my desire burns my skin. This lonely.
So I cut that one off a little bit short because I don't want to give it all away. And heard it, jump on YouTube, and where you can start is nopromises.com.au. You can start there, and I'm sure you can flow into the other social channels. And most importantly, if you see something you like or hear something that you really like, make sure you download a copy and give back to the artists that are so important right now. That if you can throw any money their way, I'm sure they'll be very grateful at this time.
Absolutely. Even sharing and streaming is,
sharing is probably
cost you nothing.
The biggest one we try and encourage people to do is sharing, because just
definitely
breaking through the noise is just so hard. And with Facebook's new format that they're going with, as far as depleting the reach that we naturally would have got, it's even harder now. So share away, people, share away.
That's right. Sharing is caring, that's for sure. And one way you can look up this show is on our link tree. You'll find all the links to all of our socials, YouTube, podcasts, audio podcasts, and everything else. So check that out as well. We get a lot of feedback after the show, and viewers in the car listening, having a listen later on or whatever. So it's quite a diverse way that people have asked me for different ways to either hear it, see it, or share it later. So we hope we can continue to that. We're up to show 38 now, and as I mentioned, our plan wasn't to ever go past show number 1. So we really appreciate you guys coming on and having a chat. And I look forward to getting both you girls on too, Janine. That'll be could be an interesting chat.
That'll be a challenge. Fiona loves technology.
Yeah, she loves it.
Maybe we'll have to come here, Eric.
Yeah, I'll try and
sure.
talk Fiona into coming here, and I'll do the technology side of it, and they can do the performing side of it.
There you go. That would be good. It's always good to get a diverse range of musicians on, and we've definitely been able to find that recently. So if anyone else that is a muso, has got some muso friends that wants to send us a link and maybe say that we should get in touch and connect, that'd be great too. So I know Corey is out playing gigs. One of your good friends.
He's busier than me at the moment. Corey has been playing at Rosebud RSL on a Saturday night for the last, I think, 22 years.
Wow.
Every Saturday night. Probably the longest residency in Victorian history, I would say. 22 years every Saturday night.
That's incredible.
So,
at least
I don't do as many gigs as he does. Yeah.
At least his family know where to find him on a Saturday night.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that is incredible. I've heard of all sorts of residencies, but I've never heard of one as long as that. If anyone can beat that one, please shoot me a message, and we'll heavily promote that. But it'll be good to speak to Corey too. I know I get to see you guys occasionally down at Venus Bay and down that way, and I look forward to getting a few other mates down there and getting a bit of a road trip happening, and we'll connect at one of your gigs. I know both you guys has No Promises as well. Had some gigs coming up, and I'm sure once we get out of this period, everyone's in a little bit unknown, and how many gigs are going to get cancelled at this point. People are still madly kind of promoting gigs for next weekend, but I think that one's going to be a real challenge as well.
I think so.
So recording, guys, when you're talking about maybe putting something out again pretty soon?
There'll be another single probably in the next few weeks.
Yeah. Yep.
maybe 2 or
It's
3
almost
weeks.
there. Yep.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of audio work to go on it, and we've got to do something with the video as well. We're going to try and do something a little bit different with the video this time.
Yep.
When we were in lockdown, we had no choice. We had to use
Stock videos.
stock video.
Sure.
Just edit that all together. And the last video was shot on location in Foster at the museum.
Yeah.
And this time we're going to do footage of us performing maybe in a studio or maybe somewhere else and combine that with some stock footage. And hopefully
Hopefully it works.
that works.
Yeah. How important do you feel that the video component sort of gets released with a song these days?
I think it's still really important.
I think so, yeah, because YouTube is probably the easiest platform to effectively advertise.
For now.
For now, yeah.
Yeah.
Spotify and Apple Music, yeah, you can point people into that direction, but it seems awfully difficult to get them to play. Whereas you advertise a YouTube video and people just click on it and watch it straight away. It just seems really easy and effective.
I noticed too, like with our last video, because we were actually in this one, it got a much better response than previous ones. Or I don't know whether it's just the song as well, maybe. I don't know. Might be a combination of all things, but it's been going really well.
Oh, good. That's great to hear. How long's it been out now, the latest?
Is it 3 or 4 weeks?
Something like that, yeah.
Yep.
I can't
Yeah,
remember
very
what the date
No,
was.
I can't either. That's terrible. Maybe 3 weeks. I don't know.
It's all a bit of a blur, isn't it?
Too many songs.
At the moment. So the
Look,
latest
we sort
round.
of released that. Sorry, I was just saying we sort of released one, and then everyone else is just hearing it. We've already moved on to the next song.
Yeah.
Well, that's how my brain works.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, look, it's not how do you find out, or how do you determine which one's next for you guys at the moment? Or do you obviously you've got a lot to work through at the moment by the sound of it.
Audio wise, I've got probably 4 or 5 on the go, in various stages of completion. Janine just did some vocals yesterday.
Yeah.
I think you did 4 songs.
3.
3 songs yesterday. Janine did. So yeah, we got a bunch of songs on the go, and
Well, we kind of had a list of maybe 14, and every time I write something like we think's really good, one drops off that list. But this week I wrote like 4 or 5, and so they're all going on. So we had to drop, every time we think there's one that's a bit weaker, that's gone, and the other one's in. But so all the ones I wrote this week are pretty much in the album now. So we just worked on those today and got the bones of it down.
Sure. And how will you find it sort of going forward, releasing kind of full albums after a range of singles, or an EP version? What's your kind of thought process in that?
The plan at this stage is to release some singles and then the album. I think we're going to do 2 albums. So
that's the plan.
That's the plan. Yeah.
There you go. Double disc.
He's got a lot of work to do. No, not a double disc, just
2 separate albums.
Yeah. Because one is slightly different genre to, well, we might get to it and it ends up being the same sound. I don't know.
It'll just be all a mishmash of similar kind of stuff. But there's 2 albums worth of stuff that we've got in the works.
So that's the alternative country and the slightly less alternative country?
Yeah, more pop rock maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, good. And I think that's great that you guys maybe not necessarily have found exactly where you want to be yet. And that's part of that creative process that keeps you driving for, what you consider not necessarily perfection in each album, but, you've got such an expansive list now with 150 or 170 odd songs that you can work through. And they may not all obviously see reality. But I think to not tap into or to not utilize that incredible songwriting nature and poetry, I guess you'd also say in a lot of that as well, would be such a shame to not put down as many as you can.
The other thing is, I think we will we may settle on a kind of sound for this album, and then the next album comes along and we may evolve to something a bit different or something more experimental, or and then the next one comes along, and I think it'll be an evolutionary process. I think.
Yeah,
I think so. But the sound that we've got going for this album that we work on now is it's actually a really good sound. So I don't know. Who knows? That might be it.
That might be it. Yeah.
Great to hear. And then when you're out playing gigs, I'm sure, no doubt, that the patrons and the punters help guide you in the, from the reaction that you get, help steer the.
Looking forward to that, actually, because obviously the last one was acoustic kind of feel, and then this one's going to be. It's got more instruments, it's got drums and bass and keyboards and stuff in it as well. So we may be in a position to put a band together as well and play live that way.
Launch or something.
That would be good. That would be fun if we could do that.
And other than the greatest instrument of all being your voice, is any other instruments part of your setup, Janine?
Oh no! Look, really, Eric makes me play guitar.
I do.
He does. I've been playing guitar for quite a while, but not like professional standards by any means. I mainly just use it as an instrument to write songs with.
Sure.
So I get by. That's about it, though.
I'm sure you're a little modest. I'm sure.
Eric not really.
Well, you can afford to sit a little bit back in the background when you let Eric
just
do his thing, for sure.
Insane. Yeah.
I just do the fluffy bits.
We'll go to gigs and I'll pull out a song and I'll say, do you want it? Can we do this one? And I'll have just written it that day or the day before. Has no idea, hasn't heard it, just plays along and somehow just pulls out this solo and just like he's been playing it for years. It's insane. I've never seen anyone like it.
Yeah, it's definitely
very handy to have around. I'm glad that we're doing this.
The problem with being able to do that is that when I recorded the last album, I'm writing a lot of the guitar parts as I'm recording it. So pretty much the whole album, you hear guitar solos and guitar parts. They were made up at that recording minutes before I played it, kind of thing, on the recording. The problem with that is remembering how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. You got to listen back to it before you get about to play it.
Listen back to it. Yeah, listen back to it and go, oh, yeah, that sounds nothing like what I just played.
Well, Unquenchable Fire is a good example. I'd written it and we literally, I think we went through it once, maybe twice, and then we did that recording. So that was really fresh when we did that. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I think
you'll have to look back so you can remember how to play it.
Yeah, that's a great part of the connection, and it's definitely a challenge for you guys to then get out there and play it live. Getting it down as a recording is always one thing, and then remembering exactly how to play it when you get out there live is another thing. But the good part is while not many people have heard it yet, you get to do your thing, and no one will know that no one will be any the wiser.
That's right. Right, that's it. We're not recording anything else.
Yeah. I think we might leave it there today, if you guys don't mind. And I'd like to catch up again, hopefully at a gig in the near future when you guys are back up and going again, and we all get out of this phase that we're in. And look forward to hopefully a gig very close down that way, down Gippsland way.
That'd be great.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, guys. Thanks again.
Thanks,
if you haven't heard of these guys, nopromises.com.au is where you're looking. We look out for Eric Collier and Janine Garvey. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Chat soon.
See you.
That was episode 38 of So What's Been Happening. And once again, just to talk about what's coming up this Wednesday night, we've got, just as I scrolled back, we've got James Young from AC/DC Lane, or was AC/DC Lane. He's now just moved. The Cherry Bar in Melbourne. Also Yaya's, and also he is involved with Hotel Westwood. And James is also just been appointed as Melbourne's Nightmare, which is incredible. That'll be a really good discussion for this Wednesday night. So over and out for now. The boys couldn't join me this afternoon, but really look forward to having them back with me on Wednesday night. Mark Burke, Glenn Curran, and Alan Love. Thanks, guys. We'll catch up soon. Have a good week.